must be adding at least a rep or 5 pounds to your lifts every week, every session. Otherwise, you're doing everything wrong and need to change your program, because progressive overload is the driver of hypertrophy.
Look, for newer lifters, sure, they can progress pretty fast in the short term, and strength is key when it comes to tracking muscle growth over time. But let's be honest, most of us, including myself, have taken it too far. People will literally start Picassoing their program, trying to squeeze out just the tiniest amount of strength progress, literally begging for spare change to break out of their plateau. Let's pause for a second. Strength progress, especially if your goal is muscle growth, should be slow. You may be at the point you're adding 1 to 2 reps or 5 to 10 pounds per month, or even less, even on compound movements. I've been there, man. I thought the solution was getting a more specialized powerlifting style program, and it definitely helped in certain ways, but the solution was much more simple, mastering patience and reading subtle cues for how I am progressing in between adding reps and weights. Just because you didn't add a rep or weight doesn't mean you didn't grow. You just grew in a smaller increment, which is normal. In this video, I will show you this simpler, patient approach. So let's get into it. As a disclaimer, progress will always be dependent on other things besides your program, your execution, intensity, diet, and sleep. So I'm gonna assume you have those things covered for the most part. This is the most common progression you'll find using rep ranges, and for good reason. Mainly that it's very flexible and pretty intuitive. You don't have to worry about hitting a specific number of reps all the time. The rate at which you add weight changes depending on your performance, so you have as much time as you need, and you can make the rep range as broad as you want. For a quick rundown, here is how most people, including myself, have recommended executing double progressions. RIR means reps in reserve, how many reps you have left before reaching failure. Pick a rep range, let's say 6 to 8. Pick an exercise and RIR target, let's say barbell curls and 0 RIR. Please don't get caught lacking using any more than 0 RIR on barbell curls. Start with a weight you can only do for 6 reps to 0 RIR. Next session, just do the same weight, but try to get to 8 reps. Probably won't be able to, and that's fine. After enough sessions, you will reach 8 reps on your first set to 0 RIR. But then what's next? This is where the problem occurs, so make sure to pay attention. Do you add weight? What do we do? Here are 3 principles to keep in mind that will influence our decision making. 1. As your experience level goes up, your rate of adaptation / muscle growth slows down. 2. The heavier a lift is, think deadlifts versus curls, the more sensitive it is to adaptations. So a deadlift will progress faster than a curl. 3. We want our rate of adaptation to be in sync with how much we are trying to progress. Add way too fast and we'll plateau because our growth can't keep up with those demands. Add way too slowly and the opposite problem. Most people suffer from the first problem though, and it's probably why you're here. Based on this, here is my guidelines. If you're a beginner and doing a heavier lift, you're most likely fine adding weight once you reach that target reps for the first set. Things like squats, deadlifts, heavy leg machines, heavy presses and pulls, you can just add weight over and over for a while pretty quickly. Otherwise, it's best to pay attention to another metric besides just the reps and weight, the quality of the set. So before adding weight, ask yourself how the quality of the last set was. Did you control your eccentric? Did you make sure to not bounce out of the bottom? Did you keep momentum limited? Did you use the same range of motion every time? Did you use the same exercise setup? If you answer no to any of these questions, then don't add any weight, or any reps for that matter. The set quality just wasn't good enough yet. Instead, just keep the weight and target reps the same for the next session. You might notice that, hey, it was still hard as shit, but it felt cleaner. Once the set has reached enough quality, then you are free to add weight and keep repeating this cycle. Doing this ensures you don't plateau, since you keep your rate of growth in sync with how often you are adding weight. The only thing this requires is for you to pay attention to these variables, which I believe is a non-negotiable as you get more experience. You have to be more in tune with your body. You won't always progress in noticeable +1 rep or +5 pound increments. You also get another gauge of progress, so you don't automatically just think of the worst when it's not necessary. Some people, if they don't add weight or reps, they literally start foaming at the mouth, hallucinating. Oh, I'm not progressing. Why even bother? Maybe I should change my program completely. So being able to know, hey, maybe I didn't add weight or reps, but my set still felt a little cleaner, can really go a long way in helping you know you're still doing the right shit. Want to know another mistake people make with their gym progress? Not taking creatine. If you're not taking creatine currently, you can still make gains, duh, but you're missing out on some extra gains that you could get simply by taking some powder or a pill. Creatine boosts your performance and recovery, allowing you to train hard and recover harder. What's important is that you take it along with working hard to reap the benefits. It's not going to give you gains on its own. alone. Personally, powder tastes like shit, and pills are, well, pills. What if you could instead take flavored gummies that actually taste good? Well, these creatine gummies from Tasty Gains got you. I've recently started taking them, and they've been insanely convenient. It's basically like the Flintstones multivitamin gummies we took as kids. Easy to use, huge boosts in gains, and they are third-party lab tested. One of creatine's biggest issues has been quality control. So if you're in the need of a simple creatine supplement that won't give you diseases, this shit is for you. Link in the description to try out Tasty Gains. They're vegan, gluten-free, and also made in the US. If not even your set quality is improving at all for many sessions, then there's probably something to look to improve, otherwise leave it. What can really help this is to figure out actual realistic rates of progression for you. Next up. I get asked a lot by people, how do I progress my arms or lateral raises faster? All my other upper body stuff is progressing way faster. There is some stuff you can try which I'll touch on in the next chapter, but the main thing you gotta acknowledge is that it's just normal. Remember, the heavier an exercise is, the more sensitive it will be to progress. So heavier upper body exercises like your compound presses and pulls should progress faster by default. Why is this the case anyways? The load is dispersed across more muscles, and most of the muscles have better leverage to lift the load. Understanding this will be crucial to setting realistic rates of progress. Another thing to understand is the rate at which progress gets slower. I can't speak for everybody, but what I've noticed is that progress usually halves from year to year. So say I put on 125 pounds on my bench in my first year of lifting. If I were to lift for another year with that same quality, I should expect to put on 62.5 pounds on my bench, and so on. The method I recommend is setting yearly goals and then breaking them down into smaller monthly/weekly goals. Let's say you're starting at 100 pounds for one rep on the bench press and want to reach 225 pounds for one rep after a year. That's a 125 pound increase. Divide that by 12 months and you have about 10.5 pounds of weight needed to be added per month. Divide that per week and that's around 2.5 pounds gained per week. So as long as you can hit the weekly or monthly threshold, you know you're on the right track. You don't always need these insane adding 5 pounds per session every time, especially the more experience you get. In the first months, you will probably exceed that 10.5 pounds per month, but it will slow down as the months pass most of the time. Do this for each of your lifts. You don't have to be exact either. You are free to nudge the numbers if needed. They are only estimates. If you have lifted seriously already for 1 to 2 years, you can use the data from then to create more accurate goals to aim for. Maybe you only gain 100 pounds on your bench your first year, or maybe 155 pounds. So do there exist more progression schemes? Any possible way to keep the strength progress going faster? Yes. However, there are catches. Next up. Quick announcement. By the time this is uploaded, there will only be like 2 days left, and I really need your help. Help with what? I'm trying to help make a bro's birthday wishes come true with your help, which you can contribute to for free. He's an upcoming competitor for a ridiculously hard fighting game that's been nominated to potentially win an invitation to a huge tournament with everything paid off. He just can't always make it to tourneys due to cost and shit. So if you could help him win with your free votes, it would mean the absolute world. The link in the description will show you how to do this. Main lifts means the heaviest, most fatiguing compound lifts, like the squat, bench, and deadlift. Essentially, when progression slows down, the proposed solution is to use what's known as periodization, where you're using a specific system of varying the weights, reps, and sets to balance fatigue and continue progression. Usually, they'll use percentages of your current 1 rep max. They do work. I have used various periodization models like 5-3-1, Juggernaut, and Candido 6-week. However, there are 2 problems. You are likely focused on growth rather than peak strength, and it's not really feasible for non-main lift exercises, especially isolations. I find for people focused solely on growth, periodization becomes mostly unnecessary. Strength gain predicts growth, yes. However, not all strength gains comes from muscle growth. If you adopt a periodization approach, you're probably gonna be doing a lot of submaximal sets. The problem? Submaximal sets, while being great for strength, are not so great for growth. Muscle growth is driven by high intensity. We want at the very least 2 RIR each set. So the best idea for both main lifts and lighter lifts is to continue using a simple double progression where the intensity can remain high while using the smarter, more patient approach I discussed earlier. You'll grow just fine. Keep in mind though that once you get strong enough, you may notice other forms of fatigue for main lifts like squats and deadlifts, so you may need to switch to higher reps or just swap them out. Hope you found this helpful. Remember man, all progress rides on the fact that you have everything else covered as well. No fancy methods can save you if you are inconsistent, have a shitty diet, and shitty sleep habits. If this is you, I got you man. You and I can work together one-on-one with the link in the description if you wish. If you like this video and want to optimize your lifting to reduce injury and get more tension to the targeted muscle, I got you with this video right here.